Hello, my name is Tom Progar. I'm the president of Veg Michigan. I went vegan in 2007. Growing up, my brother was vegetarian. I was exposed to a few vegetarians, so I've been vegetarian at that point already. For some reason, in 2007, I turned on a video on my computer that showed how eggs were produced and how milk was produced, and I believe the next day I was at a KFC demonstration and I became an advocate at that moment when I saw how the eggs and dairy was produced. I always loved animals, so my focus of not eating animals was because I didn't want to harm animals. And then at that moment when I realized I felt more harm to animals by eating the eggs and the dairy, I just felt like there was no question that I needed to give up eggs and dairy, which turned me into a vegan overnight.
Now, prior to that, were you eating a lot of eggs and dairy?
I was not. But it was part of my diet, and I thought I was doing all I needed to do for the animals at that point. I just felt like we're not harming them if we're not killing them, and they're living their lives. And I was just kind of unaware of how factory farming worked at that point, even though I lived probably 15 years as a vegetarian. So I do have sympathy for people who don't know or tell me I'm vegetarian, so I'm good, things like that. But my eyes were opened, and I haven't looked back since then.
You said you were a vegetarian from what year?
Early 1990s, I was vegetarian. And then around 2007, I went vegan. Okay. So it was quite a period.
And the main reason why was because you said your brother was?
My older brother, who was vegetarian in college, was a big influence on me. And he actually had an animal rights group that he ran at Eastern Michigan University. I went to Michigan State University. So I wasn't totally connected, but I learned enough from him that was reasonable for me because like I said, I loved animals. Growing up, we never had an animal, but there was a lot of animals in the neighborhood that I took care of, stray animals, things like that. So it was always from the animal's perspective, and just eating them didn't seem right to me.
Did you have any knowledge about whether or not it would even be safe to not eat animals? Because don't most people think I need to eat animals?
Definitely, I felt like I was totally healthy and fine being vegetarian. When I did make the decision in my mind that I'm vegan now because I don't want to hurt, I don't want to be involved in the egg industry and the dairy industry, I was a little worried because I didn't know if I would get enough of, nutrients and the things I need to be healthy. So I just kind of went in really unaware, and vegan was quite different in 2007. So, but I was determined to figure it out, and so I read and I learned about omega-3s, about B12. I really for sure stuck to this diet because it wasn't just for the animals in the end, but it was because I did feel better. Even in my late 30s, I was starting to feel a little bit of knee pain and just wearing down a little bit. And the vegan diet did help with my health. So it really, convinced me to stick to it. But I do want to say for people who are going plant-based is that you really need to learn to eat a healthy and focus on whole food plant-based foods. You do need to understand omega-3, probably take a B12 supplement, because we don't want to run the risk of being deficient in something.
You're mentioning omega-3. You're just talking about getting that through the diet, right?
For omega-3 fatty acids, my wife and I, we take a LG pill every couple of days. Plus, we eat a lot of walnuts, we eat, chia seeds. There's a list of items that are, have omega-3 fatty acids, so we make sure we get our omega-3s.
So you supplement with a little algae on an occasion.
There's a wild, well, they call it a weed, but we call it, it's purslane, and it's actually full of omega-3 fatty acids. It grows in our garden, so we clip a little off, put it in our salad, or just eat it. And that's also a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. Little known to people, but it grows everywhere in Michigan.
Yeah, we have that where I'm at too, but I'm always afraid of what's on my lawn.
Yeah. So you definitely want to get it from a source that, like we have an organic garden in our backyard, and it grows in there, so we snip a little bit of it.
It sounds like you did this entirely for ethical reasons for a very long time, and maybe only more recently the health has become part of it as well. Any other things?
Sure. Yeah, I did do this because of ethical reasons, and the health came along, and also the environment is very important to me. Just learning about how the environmental impact of all the land we're using to grow food that is fed to animals for slaughter. The numbers are amazing, and just learning that 70% of the antibiotics are fed to farm animals and the factory farming conditions. All these numbers are astounding, and being an environmentalist too, that was really the third reason to go plant-based. And then you add in that the food is delicious. After I was a meat and potatoes guy, a lot of pizzas, a lot of burgers, and after a year or so of just being committed to a plant-based diet, I love my kale and quinoa and avocado now. It's like my favorite meal, and I can grow it in my backyard. And it's like healthy. You feel good after you eat it. If I eat a processed meal too much, you don't feel that great. So if you could really commit to eating healthy foods, you feel great after, and you start to enjoy them more and more as your taste buds adapt.
Did you notice any changes after going vegan, like physiologically, mentally, emotionally?
Looking back, it was more of like, it was something that aligned with my values, and so I felt better about the decisions I was making, and I'm living my values more. Just felt good to me, so that was important to me.
Yeah, I guess kind of like peace of mind, right?
Peace of mind.
Is there a way to describe what that's like? I think I have that too, where it's more like I just feel good about who I am. Like even like when I die, I'm gonna feel good about not having had to depend on other sentient beings to exist. Those are like amazing feelings to me. Like, do you have any of those kind of feelings?
When you live your life according to your professed values, which is not always easy to do, you do feel good about yourself. I mean, I feel like a lot of people say they love animals. A lot of people say they would never harm an animal, but then they go and have a cheeseburger. So I think, on some level, there's a conflict in your mind that you have to somehow square. And at least in that area of my life, I feel like it was a challenge at first, but I stood strong with my values, and now I feel like it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
What was a challenge?
It was a small challenge for sure. When you eat eggs and dairy, your whole life, and meat earlier, a challenge to fill those meals in as just knowing you're going to do this, but not really knowing how to do this. So it was a challenge, but nothing that, couldn't be done if you have your mindset that you want to do this. And I would say today, I don't see much of a challenge at all, because there's so many great products. If you want to have a meal focused on comfort foods, if you want to have a healthy whole food plant-based meal, the recipes, the videos, the knowledge is out there now. You could easily make those transitions in a healthy way.
What kind of foods do you like to eat?
Try to focus on whole food plant-based, but I definitely enjoy a vegan pizza, Beyond Burgers, all that on occasion. I feel like it's a really good mix where I focus on like a kale salad, steam some collard greens, we throw in a grain, rice or quinoa, avocado, and that's a meal for us. We eat when we're eating and feeling our best, we're eating really simply. So that is our focus. But we still love vegan chocolate cake, and we still love going out to eat. We're really blessed in Michigan to have so many different varieties of food. Thai food, Mediterranean, Indian. All that is just a couple miles away if you live in Michigan. It's a great diversity of foods.
This building, what is this place?
So this is Veg Michigan's office. Veg Michigan has been around for about 20 years, a little over 20 years. And for many of those years, we focused on doing the Veg Fest. We did a few cooking demos a year. But over the last 6 years or so, a couple members of the board, Paul Krause, who was the president of Veg Michigan, and myself, who's the current president of Veg Michigan, we wanted to take Veg Michigan to another level, and we wanted to find a way to hire staff so we can have a bigger impact on the plant-based movement in Michigan. So what we have done over the last 6 years is do our best to, attract funding, increase the amount of programs we are doing, and so far it's been working pretty well. One of our funders has, donated the space to us. I couldn't be happier about the impact we are having in Michigan. I mean, we are reaching thousands of people every year now, and we're hoping to continue to grow. And by the looks of our surveys, our feedback, it shows that people are making changes based on the programs we're doing.
Nice. And how often do you have events?
We have done nearly 100 events already since January, since the beginning of the year. Now, wow. Today's August 1st. So we're really focused on doing events. We have 4 full-time employees now. So in 6 years, we've grown from an all-volunteer organization to 4 full-time employees. We do a couple Veg Fests per year. We get about 5,000 at one of them. One's a little smaller, gets about 3,000 people. We do cooking demos, mostly virtual still, virtual cooking demos. We do presentations in person and virtually. I do food tastings. So we work with colleges and universities to get them to try plant-based food and have them learn about plant-based eating. And we also have a wonderful program called our 30-Day Pledge, which we get people who are interested and new to plant-based eating. We get them to agree to reduce their consumption of animal products for 30 days. And in return, we offer them a mentor. We send them recipes. We keep in touch with them through email. And we also give them a bag of popular plant-based items. So this is a really great part of the program where they can choose Beyond Burgers, Beyond Chicken. They can choose a plant-based milk, just egg, and we have about 10 to 12 items on the list where they can choose from. So it has been amazing that there are so many people out there already who are interested in just trying plant-based, but they don't take that first step. So this program actually allows them to try their first Beyond Burger or try their first glass of oat milk. And it's been amazing. 90% of the people who have participated in the program have said that they're going to eat more plant-based because of the program. And it was just because they got to try it. We have so many stories of people who are interested in plant-based eating but do not take the first step. So Veg Michigan, that has become a big part of what we do. We value what everyone does in the plant-based movement, but our niche really has become getting people to try plant-based food. We just recently gave out 250 Impossible Whoppers, and we didn't just give them out to anyone. We went to Burger King, we talked to them, and we gave them out to people who go to Burger King every day. And it was a funny story I heard from a lady. She says, I've been wanting to try this Impossible Whopper for the past 6 months, but I didn't know if I was gonna like it. So I just kept getting the Whopper. So we gave her a free voucher for Impossible Whopper. Now she couldn't tell the difference, and she's happy to eat the Impossible Whopper because that's what she wanted to do. So that's just one example of a person who, for the next 10 years, is gonna eat Whoppers, and now she's gonna eat Impossible Whoppers.
Are you married, got kids?
I'm married. My wife is Kim Corona, and she is a humane educator. So we're kind of working on this together.
Oh, cool.
She works for a nonprofit, and I'm working for Veg Michigan. So we.
She vegan too?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how long has she been vegan?
She's been vegan longer than I have been.
Did you know her before you went vegan?
I was right at the.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Wow. Could you be with somebody who wasn't vegan?
It is a big part of my life to be vegan, so I guess I couldn't say never, but I really feel like the big things in life, you really need a partner who is in alignment with you, and we both feel it's like a major part of our lives. So I think it would be challenging, but I also like to think I'm open-minded. Yeah. It's challenging work because, you see people just eating an egg, and what you see is like male chicks, being ground up, or you see the whole process in your mind, and they just see, an egg or a glass of milk or whatever it is. So it is helpful that we can support each other in that area.
What about other family or friends? Is it hard around, others that aren't living this way?
I mean, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to accept my family, and my family has made a lot of changes over the years. They definitely eat a lot more plant-based, but I look at it as there's so many people in the world who are interested in this, and let's focus on the people who we can reach in colleges, the general population who want to learn more about plant-based. And once we reach all those people, we can, try to get the people who are a little more stubborn about it. That has been our mission at Veg Michigan, we partner with the Humane Society of Huron Valley, we partner with Friends of Animals for Metro Detroit, we partner with the Greening of Detroit, and I can go on and on, Friends of the Rouge. So what we do when we partner with these organizations, we offer them, your employees can do the 30-day pledge, or they can, we can bring a plant-based meal to them, or plant-based samples at one of their events. Our goal is to reach people who might have a little buy-in already, like an environmental group or a group that loves dogs and cats. And so when we do programs and do partnerships with them, we feel like we have we call it the low-hanging fruit, where we feel like they have a little bit more interest in, animal-friendly eating for the environment, or for just not to harm an animal. Do
you have a favorite quote you want to share?
I'm not great at that, but I'll say I just thought of something in my garden the other day, and I love being in my garden. I've said this for years now, but it came back to my mind when I was just kind of sitting there, watching the bees and just amazed that I'm able to grow some tomatoes and cucumbers and kale and collards. And I feel like the garden is the most peaceful place, and the slaughterhouse is the most violent place. But we go to the grocery store and it's all just food. We need to see the difference there. I apologize, and that's not really a quote, but
no, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
It is.
But that's like such a great way of encapsulating, the reality.
And you go to the grocery store, and the cheese is right next to the apples, and half the grocery stores it's not food.
Define veganism.
My definition of veganism would be a belief that you want to live as much as possible not harming an animal or another living being. I mean, even when I'm in the garden and I'm watching the bugs do their thing, if you don't have to harm an animal or even an insect, just let them live its life. And even when I see a worm and I might dig one up, they try to get away. They try to, get back to a safe place. So, and you see that with every animal. I think the most powerful way to get someone to make this connection and at least cut down on their animal consumption or go vegan is to visit a farm animal sanctuary and just look at a goat, a chicken, a cow, a pig in the eye. You see they enjoy life. Life is valuable to them, and they want to continue to live, and they want to be comfortable. They just want to live a happy life. And it's amazing what we're doing to these animals, like on a colossal basis, and it's all hidden from view. So I do recommend that. I think that's the most powerful thing we can do to stop eating animals, is just to see them as we see our dogs and cats. They're living beings who enjoy their lives, and they want to live as much as you want to live.
Is there anything about vegans you wish you could change?
This might not be popular to say, but just doing activism for 15 years now, and the philosophy of Veg Michigan and my philosophy also is to be positive and non-judgmental as much as possible. What we have decided to do, and this is my own belief too, is to do events that people enjoy. Like we have festivals, we invite people to have free samples of food. We do tailgate parties at colleges during the football game. So we try to focus on fun events. We want to connect plant-based eating to a good time. And we want to build bridges with people. So even if someone says, I still like eating my meat, we still try to respond to them in a positive way and just ask them to add more plant-based. Or we suggest they try Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger. For years, we showed a lot of, films that were, hard to watch, and we realized the general public was kind of turning away from us. So, as much as my own life, watching the videos changed my life and got me to go vegan, it seems like the general public is more likely to turn away when something they see is uncomfortable to them or something they see makes them feel bad about themselves. What we have done in our little way is just try to introduce people to plant-based food in a positive way, give them some information if they want to learn more. But the food really is the star of our organization. We want people to try it. And our philosophy is it's a process of becoming plant-based. They might talk to a friend, they might have a sibling, they might see a billboard, they might go to a sanctuary. And our part is we want them to try plant-based food. So when they start putting that all together, wow, I enjoyed that burger at the tailgate party. Yeah, my friend was talking to me about eating more plant-based. I saw that documentary on the environmental effects of it. I think it all starts to come together for people. So our little piece of the puzzle is getting as many people as we can to try plant-based food. And so far with our programs, we're getting thousands and thousands of people to try plant-based food every year in a fun and, opening, welcoming way.
Do you ever avoid using the word vegan or maybe try to replace it with plant-based?
Actually, we use the word plant-based at Veg Michigan now. We do, because it was our decision that we felt like vegan has become a little confrontational to the average person. We don't want it to be us versus them. We want it to be, like I said, we're not putting up a wall, and if you're in the club or you're not in the club, we want to build a bridge. So plant-based does seem to have a nicer ring to it for the average, person. So we do choose to use the word plant-based now instead of vegan for the most part.
It's an interesting conversation there because so many people, like especially when I was at the National Health Association conference, there was a lot of people there for health reasons and they weren't thinking beyond that. And when I interviewed those people, I began to realize that over time, with their answers, the argument is, well, plant-based people are healthier than vegan. The vegans can be unhealthy or whatever. And they could be junk food. But the thing is a person has a choice, and it's not inflicting harm on another animal. However, the least processed is the most vegan in my mind, because it's the least resources, the least processing, the least in packaging that's invasive on the environment. So to
100%.
to me, like, vegan means so much more than anything else. But you're right, there is a negative connotation, and perhaps using plant-based prevents somebody from going forward with it.
We do use the word plant-based because our entire effort is to find people who do not eat plant-based at all or do not eat vegan, because we're trying to get to people and get them to try their first glass of plant-based milk, or get them to try their first Impossible Burger, or eat a plant-based meal, So that is our focus. But the word vegan, though, does mean everything to me. And I identify myself in my heart as a vegan because it's the idea of not causing harm is the best you can. And a new program we're hoping to expand on is getting people to grow backyard vegetable gardens, because now you're talking about less packaging, which a lot of that ends up in the ocean. You're talking about less transportation. You're talking about growing food on a smaller scale instead of an industrial scale with, a lot of chemical fertilizers, things like that. So if we can really have that mindset of like, let's grow what we can grow, that's the very definition of local, and it could be super healthy food because it's nutrient density is you're just picking it and eating it. And like I said, and then you're getting the activity of working in the garden. So you're doing these natural movements, and all of the blue zones that people live to 100 years old. Another commonality is that they are active people. So, and if anyone ever started a garden, it builds community, because you start growing some tomatoes and the neighbors stop by, and it's just, and then you start sharing. I grew up, my grandma had a huge garden in her neighborhood, and everyone was always stopping by. My brother became a farmer, my sister became a farmer. Growing food is just invaluable. Like, the food my brother grows at his farmer's market is priceless. Organic food, local. He has to compete with people who say, well, at Target, the food costs $2.99 a pound, and why are you charging $4.99 a pound? But the majority of people really value that local food. So I wish on a large scale, on like a federal scale, we can promote backyard gardens. It would do a world of good for people and the environment and for animals.
And then there's a lot of health benefits beyond just eating it. I mean, you're also getting sunshine, you're moving, you might be stretching and squatting and getting your hands dirty, probably getting a little bit of benefit to your microbiome maybe.
Exactly.
I mean, there's just so much. It is a beautiful thing, and it's something that I do more and more every year myself, to the point that I know I'm headed toward having like a food forest one day.
Having a garden in Michigan is wonderful. You can definitely grow a lot of food. The season is obviously a little bit shorter, as it would be in the South, but as you learn about gardening, it's very simple to start plants earlier indoors, and a little row cover, and you can extend the season. You could start planting in April, and I've picked kale in December. Once the plant is grown and you have a full crop, you can slowly pick it. It might not grow at that point, but it'll definitely stay in the ground and stay healthy. So you have a pretty long growing season, and Michigan has a growing farmers market community. It used to be hard to find a farmers market. Now every city seems to have a farmers market, and so there's been a pretty good movement for local food, local fruits and vegetables, and it hopefully keeps growing. Mm-hmm.
Do you think Veg Michigan will maybe evolve into somehow getting people to do more of that, inspiring that some way?
I think it was 2011. I read this article called the Backyard Veggie Movement, and it was in Royal Oak, Michigan. I don't know how much that has taken hold, but Veg Michigan would love to promote that and even put some resources into maybe having starter plants for people, maybe helping people start their garden, and just promoting information about getting your garden up and running, what to plant, what month. So that is definitely something Veg Michigan could see doing in the future if we can get a little funding for that. But we think that is a great way to promote like healthy, sustainable, humane living.
You think if somebody goes vegan for health reasons, they're not vegan enough because they didn't do it for ethics?
Yeah, if someone goes vegan for health reasons, then that makes me so happy to hear that. Yeah. There's so many people who eat animal products almost every meal. Like, let's try to focus on getting those people to maybe add some plant-based meals to their diet. And let's not be so hard on people that are vegan or are not vegan enough. Veg Michigan, we supported KFC having vegan nuggets, and there's a lot of pushback about people going to KFC for vegan nuggets because it's probably put in the same, burner or fryer as the meat nuggets. And personally, that's very frustrating to me. Like, if we can get Burger King to have the Impossible Whopper and KFC to have vegan nuggets, imagine if we could support these things, and imagine if they catch on. And in 10 years from now, Impossible Whoppers become 40-50% of their sales, or they come up with new products. That will make a real difference for animals in the world. Let's not be so hard when we go to KFC and we complain that this should be cooked in a different fryer, or I don't want my burger next to the meat burger. Let's just value what these large companies are doing and think about how much benefit they can have if these products grow in popularity.
And you could always get the Impossible Burger in the microwave. They'll microwave it. I actually like it better in the microwave.
That's like where I've talked to some people and they're like, it's a little bit of a pain. And so just kind of like accept what they're doing. But if you're good with that, and
if you can communicate it properly, I'm
exactly.
excited. If you're positive when you're ordering.
Totally. That's the difference. Some people come in like kind of like, oh, I don't want don't put that on
your nasty
exactly.
carcass necro.
That's what they say. And you probably go in and just say like, hey, do you mind throwing that in the microwave instead? And they're like good with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally do feel like we want to make it easy as possible for the servers and the workers where it's, vegan, even if it's not perfect. So as long as people are positive about that, I feel like you could say in a nice way, like, hey, do you mind just throwing this in the microwave? And they're like, yeah, no problem. But I've seen people like actually put on social media, oh, those, this isn't vegan, this is like, and I just feel like.
And they could feel that way. Like, I don't eat the Impossible. Like, I mean, in a pinch I might, but I could feel that way without having to ridicule it. Because as soon as we ridicule it, the non-vegans are probably going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to eat that either.
The people who don't want, who want to make this look bad, they latch onto that. I think I've had 2 or 3 in my lifetime of Impossible Whoppers. It's not my thing, but like we did the program of giving away 250 Impossible Whoppers. We didn't try to attract people who don't go to Burger King. We did it from the Burger King parking lot where they were already in line at the drive-thru. And we're asking them, hey, have you ever tried it? If they tried it, we said, thank you. If they've never tried it and they are willing to, we gave them a free voucher. Yes, that's not go to the local health food store and get a vegan salad. It's someone who's in line at Burger King who's going to get a Whopper. So there's a difference there.
Yeah, because some people aren't in it for the health reasons,
Exactly.
The health isn't going to get them. Maybe somebody nice might get to them.
Yeah, and, some people have said, like, I'm interested because I do love animals. But it's amazing how they don't take that to the next step at all. They won't take it. But if you say, hey, try it for free, it's all vegan. And they're like, I'll give it a try. And it can open their eyes. Like, because some people are totally convinced it's not going to taste good. But people can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, I've had countless friends say, "Man, I like that thing better than the."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Well, why aren't you vegan?"
we do question at Veg Michigan, like, should we promote the Impossible Whopper? Yeah, we should try to focus on people eating healthier. And like our cooking demos are whole food plant-based. A lot of the things we do are whole food plant-based, but these are people who are in line at Burger King to get French fries, shake, and like, I'm good with them eating an Impossible Burger instead of, so I think it's all in context. Like, what are they gonna eat instead? Like, their option is not a kale salad. Their option is like an Impossible Whopper. That's something they'll eat.
Do you think we're doing pretty good at heading toward a vegan world one day?
I wish we could say that we are heading toward a vegan world. I think their eyes are being opened. I think we're working, and there's a lot of passionate people that see that's the way that we could live sustainably, kindly, and healthfully. But I don't know if that is. I wish I could say it was, but it just, I feel like there's a lot of work to do. So
when I look at the world, man, I just don't see it happening. But at the same time, when I think about how we are innately, like, I assume at our core, we are going to. We have to.
It's in us.
It's in us.
I feel like it's in us because just thinking, like, we don't want to be harmed. We don't want to do harm to people. Majority of us would never, if we had to kill these animals to eat them, the majority of Americans would just never do that. And so, I mean, the systems are so powerful, and they have so much money behind them. It's just hard to see us getting a foothold. But I can go to bed at night, every night, feeling like I chose my direction in life that I really believe in, and like, I'm gonna do the best I can do to help promote a healthier, kinder, sustainable world. And at some point, you just have to like do the best you can and leave the rest.
Wild forces of the universe.
I feel like you can really go into deep depression if you really feel like, if you think too much that if we don't make this change, stay positive and try to like do the best you can and live the values that you believe in, and hopefully people see that and want to like align with what you're doing. And that's all we can do is like do the best we can.
How do you stay positive in such a sick world?
Staying positive in a very challenging world, it's hard. My motivation is I do actually make sure I click on all those videos that the groups send me when they do an undercover investigation, and I know it's going to be hard to watch, but I do my best to watch as many as I can because it keeps me motivated to keep working for animals. And that's the problem with the world. The whole world can never see those videos. I do watch those, and it does depress me, but it keeps me motivated to work for the animals. And I feel like you do have to allow yourself to step away from it for a day or for a period and enjoy your garden, enjoy your friends, enjoy the things you do in life, and know that you're in it for the long run and you want to do it so that you can do it, and be healthy. And I know they say this is like you can't overdo it or you're not helping anyone, but it's true. You have to find your what you can do, and you have to do the best you can do.
Keep balance.
And then you have to keep a balance, and hopefully that's enough. You have to, because some days you feel like you just got 20 people to adopt plant-based milk, and then you go home and you see that the dairy industry just got a $2 billion subsidy because no one's buying milk, and so it's
now they're really gonna ram it down everybody's
yeah,
throats.
exactly. So it's just all those directions. We need to work on governmental level, federal level, local level, and but we're having an impact. We're having an impact, and it's common to go into stores and find plant-based options and to talk to anyone. And plant-based is, it's not some unfamiliar term anymore. So just got to keep going in that direction.
I think we're having an impact also because I'm finding more and more people are raising their children vegan from birth, and I think that's going to be the next big wave. You see all these healthy, happy, lifelong vegans, and also the long-term vegans are killing it, man. I mean, they look amazing and better health markers and all that. So
definitely, I'm 52 now, and good numbers and less aches and pains. Play tennis two days a week. Always 30-year-olds. Maybe a 40-year-old, but I'm 52, 53, just turned 53 actually. So my friends say, you're doing good, you're doing good. So there's a little interest there, and lead by example a little bit.
I think eventually it's going to be too irresistible and too inescapable.
Yeah.
And then I guess they call it, what do they call it?
Yeah, the tipping point.
Yeah, what is it, like the 3%?
Yeah. I think we're going to get there. And I agree with you when you say the kids who are vegan, they're growing up in a world where there's no lying to them. They just know, why would I eat this animal?
They're not in front of a TV state with 3 channels. Milk is good for you.
Yeah, they're going to go to school and they're going to be like, what are these people doing? They're eating animals, and they're going to talk to people. I mean, by far, when we do our college outreach, students are just more open to making changes, trying things, and that's going to change the world. We might never see where it goes, but college students are open to the environmental effects of it. They're open to not harming animals. They're open to healthy eating, and they also enjoy possible Beyond Burgers, things like that. But there's no I don't even want to hear it. You don't hear that. They're like, okay, what do you got to say? I'll listen to you. And
I guess kids are more open-minded, I guess, these days, you think?
I do. I mean, I don't know what was before, but I mean, or they're open-minded, or they already have some knowledge about plant-based eating. So when we go and we say, hey, try this for the first time, they're like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And it's been successful, our work with University of Michigan, Michigan State, Eastern Michigan. And, we do programs. We do our 30-day pledge at different colleges. It's great. They're really receptive, yeah.
Do you have any tips for other event planners? You've been doing this for a little while, and is there anything you could suggest or say to the other organizers?
Yeah, I'd say Veg Michigan, we have been really successful at creating events over the years. Whatever the person is looking to do, something that they're passionate about, they could probably go in that direction. I would say a good place to start is maybe doing a presentation at your local library. Look for places that have the resources in place already. Contact your local library, connect with a speaker, and just go through the process of creating an event. Maybe work with a local restaurant who could donate or offer us plant-based appetizers during the event. That's a great way to get more people. Find a speaker who is well-rounded with his knowledge about plant-based eating, his or her knowledge about plant-based eating. Find a way to promote it on social media. The library normally helps promote it. And just start there and see how it goes. As you build your community, you could try to do a Veg Fest or a more of a festival type event. The things that people seem most interested in from our perspective are cooking demos, presentations with a health focus, and that go along with maybe some appetizers that people can try that are plant-based. People love coming to festivals. Those are a lot more work. It's all very doable. A few good volunteers could put together a festival if they, put their mind to it. And you can definitely contact Veg Michigan. We're happy to share our knowledge about promoting plant-based eating. So that's an option.
How far out in advance do you plan an event? If it's a big festival and you got a lot invested in this, do you start advertising it a year in advance?
Our Veg Fest pre-COVID, we started planning a year ahead of time, definitely, because We flew in Alicia Silverstone from California. John Sally, who's an ex-NBA player, came in from California. We had a scheduled Dr. Greger. We had to schedule all those people on this day that we needed them, not the day they could come. So you definitely want to start a year and ahead scheduling people. You want to make sure your venue is available, a venue the size, the amenities that you need. Like we needed to have a huge warehouse that could fit 200 vendors alongside a space where people could give presentations. So you have to find that space that works for you. You have to decide if it's going to be a free event or a paid event. We have done both. When we bring in big celebrities and big name speakers, we have to charge money. It's expensive to fly people in. They charge normally, and the venue is expensive. So we try to recoup our costs by charging a nominal fee. We've also done a free Veg Fest at Eastern Market, where we had 5,000 people come out. The money we bring in through charging our vendors covers the cost of that type of event, and we just do the promotion, things like that. Both types of events, free or paid, can bring in a lot of people. You really need a team of volunteers or staff to do a festival, because you have to work with the health department. You have to do advertising. You might have to do ticket sales. It's a lot of work. So start small and just trying to get to understand the smaller type library events, and then you can grow into something bigger.
How soon do you start spending money on advertising though? Like a year in advance also?
We'd start advertising about 3 to 4 months out.
Oh, okay.
For an event. If it's too far out, then it's out of their mind, or it's a waste of money. But you want to find that sweet spot where they can make plans to come to the event, buy tickets if needed. People normally don't think that far in advance. So
is there a resource out there that might be something people could use if they're wanting to start? It's like a resource that delineates best practices or something.
Veg Michigan is kind of a unique group because I know of a good number of local groups that host a Veg Fest and do different events throughout the year. What we have done is try to take that community volunteer spirit and actually expand it to everyday activism. And by getting employees, hiring employees, we were able to do that. These organizations should get together and figure out a way to put some kind of manual together of best practices when it comes to organizing a Veg Fest, things like that.
So there's not a resource that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
People have called us and we've talked to them about doing the events, but we do not have anything. We just kind of know how to do them now.
Yeah. What have been some really effective ways of getting people to come to your events? What best ways to advertise, or any tips there?
We might promote a plant-based presentation at the local Dearborn Library. So we might get local, maybe 30, 40 local people who want to learn more about it. They get to try some plant-based food. And then at that point, we try to get them to sign up to our newsletter. We normally let them know when our Veg Fest is, things like that. We do a lot of social media. Over the years, we've done a ton of advertising, from billboards to social media. And we definitely feel like targeted social media is the best bang for your buck. For our Veg Fest, we try to promote that through social media, through the smaller events we do. Even when you do an event like Veg Fest, you're able to get on the local news, so that's a great way to promote the event. And you try to get your speakers to help promote the event for you. I mean, when Dr. Greger says he's speaking at Veg Fest, we sell 500 tickets that day. So those are all good ways to just get the word out.
Yeah, but Gregor is not telling people. People just hear his name, right?
They just hear his name and they.
So
and
I
when's
guess
he
the
speaking?
I guess the tip there is get Gregor.
Get Gregor. Yeah.
So how can people find more about Veg Michigan?
You can definitely check out our website. We have a wonderful website. You can sign up to our newsletter on our website, which comes out monthly. Talks about everything going on plant-based in Michigan. It's a wonderful resource. We have blogs, we have our event calendar, things like that. If there's any donors out there, we'd love for you to become a member of Veg Michigan. We have 400 paid members currently. They help support our programs and we're looking to grow that. If you're also interested in donating to Veg Michigan, we'd love to talk to you. We have programs that have been proven to be very successful to get people to move towards a plant-based diet. And we'd love to talk to you about those programs, how we can help expand them to different areas. Check out our website and you can find all our contact information and see more about what we do.
So you've already kind of covered on some successes, some of the challenges, how to encourage others effectively, your story. Is there anything else you'd like to share, like any last minute encouraging words?
I'd just like to say that it seems like it's a slow process at times, but the plant-based movement is growing and it seems like it's not just a fad anymore. It feels like people are really changing their lifestyles. It feels like this is growing and gaining momentum every year. It should, because it's a really good way to live. It's a healthy way to live. It's a kind way to live. It's a sustainable way to live. So we just have to keep working on being positive, sharing our message, and allowing time to let people to see that this is a better way to go.
What if somebody wants to connect with you directly? Do you have any kind of social media outlets that people might be able to reach you through or check you out?
You can definitely connect with me through my Veg Michigan. I am not the biggest into social media. Olivia, who runs our social media, is amazing, and so I kind of message through Veg Michigan. Check out our website. You'll see my name and send me an email. I'd love to connect with you. If you have any questions about our organization, if you want to get your organization off the ground, some things that have worked really good for us, happy to share that with you. I would love for there to be Veg Ohio and Veg Indiana and so on, because we are kind of a unique organization where we're totally grassroots and community-based, but we're big enough where we can really have an impact on getting people to eat more plant-based. The Mercy for Animals, the Humane Society of the United States, they all have their purpose and they work on bigger initiatives, definitely. But it's really good if you can have local organizations to go into libraries and talk to people and give them that personal perspective and to just connect with people on a one-on-one basis. It's hard for the big organizations to do that, but we've been able to do that. And I think if there was more organizations such as Veg Michigan, it could have a big impact. And we're hoping to grow. We cover Ann Arbor, Flint, Metro Detroit, Lansing, but we'd like to get to the west side of the state. We'd like to get up north further. So there's a lot for us to do, but having an organization in each state of this size would be a great thing.
Well, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
You gave me a good chunk of it, and you're doing great work here, and it's very impressive. I'm honored, and hopefully I'll get to come to one of your events, man.
Yeah, for sure. I hope there's something in there you can edit out, or
yeah.
I mean, I know you're going to edit out a lot. I hope there's something you can keep.
We're going to end it with that little bit right there. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.